Steven Spielberg once recalled, on the original Jaws, Steven wanted to hear what the theme was, and went to John. John said, I'll give you the theme, it's very simple. Steven said, that's all? He said, yeah, that's it. Bump, 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 bump. Well, of course, that terrified the world.
His contribution, first of all, to the first film was absolutely imperative, because he filled in for the shark with that signature score that told the audience it's here, or it's coming, or it's been here.
In Jaws 2, John Williams had to do something more complex, because it was a more complex film.
With Jaws 2, everything had to be expanded, and he expanded his work, but still retaining his signature.
I think that it was assumed by everyone who made the film that the music would come back also and be part of the cast, if you like, another shark or another person. It would require new music, certainly, but the signature music of Jaws should be used as well. And in a way, in a funny way, it's a little bit like serials, which used to have always the same music every week, or if you had Roy Rogers or the Lone Ranger, whatever this would be, or you'd always have the same signature music on these things. So there certainly has been a great tradition for that in the serials of Hollywood. I think the unique thing about Jaws 2 and that kind of music was that it doesn't suggest itself as a candidate for a series of films in the same way that Buck Rogers would, for example. I think that perhaps makes it unique. But the tradition of revisiting the themes in a film was certainly not new. I think just new to this genre.
Now, Mike! Go back up!
One of the things that I never do, because I'm writing all the time, I don't look back over my shoulder of what I've done in the past week, and certainly not years before, because always something is on the desk which has to be done this day and next week. That's an apology for not being able to accurately describe the difference between music of Jaws 1 and Jaws 2. Jaws 2 seemed to be a larger ensemble. It was a bit more expansive in the way that it was done, perhaps that's true. And that the orchestral palette may have been a little bit broader or a bit longer notes. Probably was more likely an intuition on my part to sort of fill the space that emerged in the new choreography, if you like, of what the director had made. Certainly some of the original music was used, but I think probably the large percent of that score is probably new music to choreograph and support the action of the new director.
John Williams was gonna do the score, which, I was thrilled, because I think the score of the first one, that incredible music that is known, I think that is the most well-known few chords after Bum 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 in the whole world. Everybody knows the shark thing. John Williams had a real problem on this film, is that because of this time, or this clock element, he had to start working before the picture was finished. We had a general discussion about the film, and I told him that there's more at sea, so there would be more of an element of adventure. So there was a swashbuckling element, and that there would be probably more variety, or more opportunity for variety, because the story was so different. Then he started to work. I showed him whatever I had done at that point, whatever was edited, and then whatever I didn't have, I would describe to him. I showed him the storyboards, he'd read the script. A lot of this was incredible because he couldn't measure precisely, and he just was extraordinary because, these are very difficult circumstances to work under. It was not just a question of taking the theme from the first one and playing it, and that was it. I think he had to write more music, and as I said, it was much more varied, and he did some wonderful things that he found, which was the sort of, not childish, but kind of youthful counterpoint to the shark thing that is always around, when the kids are sailing or when the kids are going out to sea. He was very inventive. He did a great job. There's no doubt that, his music really added an enormous amount of quality.
if you would give me the choice of doing a sequel to a film that I've already done, or to do a new score, my choice would be to do the new score, because one has been already through this material, and it's probably, maybe perhaps you could say, more fun to create, to begin anew each time. But I have, just through the vagaries and the serendipitous aspects of life, I've been associated with quite a few of these things in the Star Wars films now, having done 4 of them, and the promise of even more to come from George Lucas, where there's a body of music that's part of Star Wars, but each time we add to the corpus of that collection of music, and that's become actually quite fun. So it gets bigger and bigger all the time, a new theme here, another one there, and a development of an old one here. As things have turned in my life, in my career, in my very fortunate career, I've been able to come back and revisit some materials, to redo it, represent it, but also to re-say it with a new dressing, you know. And that's been interesting for me personally also, because I can go back and say, have I done as well this time, or maybe even better? It's always fun to go back through our scrapbook of life and see how we got to where we are at this moment, and the path that took us there, and how we've evolved in the process.